The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. As we start off the day, the S&P is down. Tried to go a little higher this morning at 2442. We're off, 5 points on the S&P. Cash volume is a little light, 1.85 billion shares. So we are down on a little lighter volume than you would think. Of course, the NASDAQ is 31 points higher. I was thinking either this afternoon or Friday was going to be probably the crest of this upward wave. With the downside in the S&P, I think you might see the NASDAQ top out today and the S&P then on Friday. So we may have some hang time, as they say in basketball, going on. But in the meantime, we always like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have? Well, we'll talk more about that as time goes on. But off 5 points, you had a couple of days down. It's been on a lighter volume. Is this a bear trap? I still would like to see a nice little spike, kind of like we got in the NASDAQ today, to start pulling the string. In fact, I will watch the close today and see whether or not it's worth pulling the string on the NASDAQ. But I think we could still pop up 8-10 points and see some stocks that are highly short have some big intraday spikes that give it up. That's normally a fairly decent sign that you've got a long-term top end, not just a pullback. Could we just continue falling 4 or 5 points a day in the S&Ps without a spike? You can, but normally on long-term spikes, you get that last little bit out of it. So we may see kind of flattish markets till Friday. We may see what I would like to see, which is a real run at the end of the day, maybe another 20, 25 points higher in the NASDAQ to signal that is the time to pull the trigger, and maybe even the S&P runs toward the end of the day, and you get up 2, 3, 4 points. So maybe 10 points higher. Maybe if we get lucky and then pull the trigger. But right now, kind of sitting on my hands, we have one option position out in the newsletter, and that's about it. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, pretty much all cash. But seeing some nice moves in some of these tech stocks that look like they could roll over at any time. The question is, we've already had the first downtrend in these, and I think that they tend to will all kind of look like Apple in a week or so. It's just the question is, when is that little part going to happen? I mean, we had what do we have? Apple just kind of bouncing around this 145 area. As always, we like to kick off the show with a little bit of history.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And we will look at Adobe here in a minute, as soon as we get history on the way. On this day in 1788, the New Hampshire becomes the 9th and last necessary state to ratify the Constitution of the United States, thereby making the document the law of the land. Congress endorsed a plan to draft a new Constitution, and on May 25th, 1787, Constitution Convention convened at Independence Hall in Philadelphia on September 17th, 1778, after 3 months of debate. Moderated by Convention President George Washington, new U.S. Constitution, which created a strong federal government with an intricate system of checks and balances, was signed by 38 of the 41 delegates present at the conclusion of the convention. No mention of Russians or hacking can be seen around that time. But what do we have? A whole lot of nothing other than that. Elections are over. Probably the most exciting thing is that 99% of the money for the election in Atlanta yesterday came from outside the bounds of people that could legally vote for those folks, which is kind of insane. In fact, 90% of it came from 3 zip codes in California. The effort to buy a seat in Congress doesn't seem to pan out for those that tried to do it. But what can we say? That was part of it. The other part was, again, just a replay of last fall's election, where we had some of the biggest names, including, 358's guy who said that there was a 70% chance of the person who didn't win winning. So again, very interesting to see that everybody that's supposed to know apparently doesn't, and that polls are probably not any better than the toilet paper that they are written on these days. So that's about it. Let's go ahead and start looking at some charts. Someone brought up Adobe here for our intraday spike. So let's take a look at that real quickly. ADBE. I always loved that movie, The Russians Are Coming. I think it had the guy that was in Catch-22. I can't remember his name right now. And all I remember is, everybody to get from street. Everybody to get from street. Carl Reiner? No, it was another one. Everybody must get from street. And I can't remember. I remember seeing the movie. We've got a nice spike on Adobe, ADBE. Now, this was on huge volume opposed to the previous low volume high of June 5th, 144.34. We spiked through it, came up, and gave it up. That's exactly what you're looking for. Yeah, if you're looking for good signs of stocks, this is exactly it, especially from the big street names. They love to run these stocks at the very end. Normally, high volume highs are something that you want to shy away from. But after big, long runs at the very end of a lot of these, if you go back to the stocks of 1929 or 2000 or 2007, you'll find that a lot of these things ran every short that they could that day, and then the market literally turned around on a dime on them. Now, this is we'll look at more of these probably tonight when I run my scans, but it will be interesting out here to see it. But it's not uncommon to see at the very last, just everybody get rolled over and screwed over at the very high of the market, only to see it fail either that day or the day later. But yeah, Adobe Systems, hold on to your hats. Anything else you got? Back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see.
And it is blue skies for Red Hat today. You see what I did there? Blue skies for Red Hat. Okay, I feel like a zinger there. I need a little rim shot there. 99.75 is the high of Red Hat today. Analysts can't get over themselves enough to tell everybody to buy this thing now that it's gone up $10 today. Didn't tell you to buy it yesterday, but man, are they telling you to buy it today? Again, what we want to be watching for these things, there's no reason to buy this today, is whether or not these things gap back down. Don't think so. I mean, Red Hat's earnings were fairly good, so there's not a lot of worry out here. Of course, Red Hat sells services to people who use free and open source software. Sometimes that means you need special things written for your systems and your web services, and that's what they do. So somebody at Amazon or somebody at Google, somebody at another place like CRM are going to go, we want to use this piece of hardware, but Unix or Linux doesn't have a driver for this video card or this interface for network protocols or something like that, and Red Hat will write it for them and charge them, and they then distribute that stuff to other folks for a charge. But it's kind of like your basic computer at home runs the free version of the software, but if you're going to run it in a big web services silo of data, then you have to go to these guys to get the service that you need, and maybe the technical programming staff to fix what you have there. Anyway, good day, good volume. Nothing out here other than the fact that you watch this thing gap down tomorrow. You got an abandoned baby, and it's not uncommon to see these things at highs. I'm not forecasting it, only telling you to keep a close eye on it. And what else do we have out here? Just trying to go through a lot of these things. Just give me a second. We had oil plunge. I don't know if there's any chart that's worth even showing, other than the fact that oil's off another $1.26. Ask Andy Heck 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago whether or not the offshore drillers were the coal companies of this year, and ask him whether or not we could see oil go back to 1999, 2000 levels when the thing was trading at 16 some odd dollars a barrel. Everybody kind of looks at you like you're an alien with a third eye. Although one thing I can tell you about commodities, I'm not a big commodity trader, is I've seen them go to heaven and hell and right back to heaven again. And it seems like everybody tells you that they can't. I remember everybody telling us peak oil at 150 and 160, and everybody telling us that we've hit a bottom when we hit 50. And these things just take on a life of their own. I will give you one option and one different way to think about crude today. And this thing actually dropped about $1 when a few of the OPEC members said that they weren't so committed to the cutback in production. And I think it fell about 80 cents or $1 fairly quickly. But think about this. Do you think that right now the Saudis are more worried about getting their IPO out or Iran attacking them? Is the U.S. more concerned with Russia being able to move the price of oil up so that it doesn't collapse for yet a second time? It's been spending a lot of money down there in Syria that it does not have. We basically ran the USSR into the ground on military spending in the 80s. Will it be something different, i.e. actually driving the price of oil down that drops Russia into the ash bin of history a second time? I think you kind of look at maybe the Saudis and the U.S. getting two birds with one stone by pushing crude prices down. That is putting pressure on Iran and putting pressure on Russia. Is it all, just in the background there? And weirder things have happened, but just one theory. That was what 2014 was all about. And, of course, history doesn't exactly repeat itself, but it does rhyme, and that was it. Got another question to look at data, which is Tableau Software. It's another big data company out here. And, of course, no spike on this one. Any close back below the 3x3, I suspect, though, would be a short signal. You haven't gotten it yet. That's why I kind of looking at a few of these saying, well, maybe we get something before the end of the day. Maybe we don't. But I'm kind of watching it fairly closely and don't think that we have a lot out here. I would still love to see one more pop. Maybe it comes today. Maybe it comes Friday. I don't think it comes tomorrow. I think maybe we just go sideways. Maybe we gap up on Friday and there's no volume, and maybe that's the place to set the hook, or maybe it's later this afternoon. Volume has kind of come in over the last 20 minutes, and actually fairly strongly. We're almost at 2.3 billion shares, so we'll see how this goes, but it does look like it's going to be a better volume day than we've had since Friday. Monday and Tuesday not being all that exciting. So it will be interesting to see if we continue to see more dollars come in on the downside than on the upside in this market. What else do we have? Somebody wants me to look at the SMHs. You can always email me at path@tfnn.com. You can put something in the den, or you can call me at 877-927-6648. Okay. What are we going to look at? Man, we looked at data. Nothing in that one. I was going to look at something else, and then I lost my train of thought. Let's take a quick look. I'm going to look at let's look at the big guys again. Amazon. I saw 4 different articles and 2 different TV, what would you call them, segments on infotainment, cable, financial infotainment, cable financial infotainment. Yeah, I forget what I call it sometimes. And those were all about, is Amazon a monopoly? As I said, I think this is going to get a little bit more of a crescendo. Again, we saw Amazon come off the highs and do so with volume. It did spike 2 days ago on 5 million shares and then close and go sideways. Again, a lot of times there's a lot of hang time up at these at highs, significantly long-term or medium-term highs in the market. And what you don't want to see here now is closes below the 3x3 displaced moving average or the 9-day moving average. We'll look at that 9-day moving average and come back, which will be way sooner than you think.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Yeah, and one of these things, it is tough being short at the top because I've said it many times out here. The Jesse Livermore quote that everybody thinks that a market quits just kind of instantly, and the answer is not. It tends to do a lot of this. If you go back and look at the descriptions of the stock market in the biggest downturns, like in 1929 or 2000. It didn't happen in a single day. In fact, the 2001, if you look at it, had a huge recovery after it came down the first time. And then, of course, really in March of that year, the wheels started to fall off. So a lot of people think it's just single. Market generally, the way it gets people to hold stocks at highs to the lows is lulls them into complacency. And if you're complacent, that's how they set the hook and hold you, get you into the boat. We were talking about Amazon's 9-day, and again, any close back below that, my guess is you're going to start seeing action like we've seen like Apple. Amazon's probably the strongest one, so probably the least shortable of the bunch. Let's take a look at some of these energy companies here today, or at least the energy ETFs. The USO solidly breaking below the August 3rd, 2016 low, $9.23 with 36 million shares. And, of course, today we've already got 52 million shares. So you are breaking at least below that on long-term lows. The next low comes in here at $7.92 and $7.67. So you've broken that low. You've broken it with volume. Energy, it was fairly decent all the way back down from this January 3rd high at $12. So there's just not a lot in here. I know everybody and their dog downgraded them, so this may be at least a temporary low in some of these. Let's take a quick look at XOP today. Same thing. The last low was 17.5 million shares at 31.98. That was back on August 2nd of 2016. We're down with 26 million shares today already. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know. But a lot of times you get fairly quick reversals when everybody throws the towel in these. I don't think that you could add a new position here at all, or that you'd want to be short. You'd probably want some close back above today's low to say a bottom was in. And like I said, I think it looks like $40, maybe $38 is certainly available out there for a low in crude. So what else do we have out here? Let's take a look at some. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. GPRO. We didn't get to GoPro yesterday. We were talking about that, me finding yet GoPro knockoffs from Amazon that are actually fairly decent with 2 batteries and waterproof enclosures for $27 compared to the $300 of a GoPro. And I'm going to say 95% is good, especially if you're taking them to places that you might destroy them. $30 is a lot better than $300. This is down a little bit on light volume. Don't see a lot out here. It basically has filled this gap up that goes back to, what is that? Well, I guess it hadn't filled it all the way. You kind of just finding support for this gap up on the, what is that, March 16th of 2017 with 20 million shares. It's fairly light volume back in here for GoPro. Again, this stock is, what, 25 or 30% short. It's one of the big shorts of all time. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, put a message in the den. My issue on the stocks out here, you want to see the close. Let's take a quick look at the SMHs. SMH, he said. Let's see what we've got here. The volume has been at the very tail end of the day, so I don't mind waiting to see what happens 5 minutes before the close. Don't have a lot of juice. This thing's just going sideways. Ideally, for some retracements, let's get a little shorter time frame out here. For some retracements, you had kind of a little confluence level that came in at $84. that kind of has held it so far. Ideally, from this move down, 86.42 was kind of what I was talking about yesterday, and I still suspect that's kind of what I would love to see. That is some kind of real last-minute short squeeze to 86. Maybe we get it tomorrow. I would just like, sometimes you don't get it. Sometimes the market's just so weak and it just dies. But anything below 85 on a close on the SMHs pretty much takes you back down to $79 fairly quickly. So why we haven't had the kind of volume and everything else that says this is it, we haven't had any strength to the upside either. I'm just going to say, much like our forefathers, I don't get to say forefathers enough, who said, wait for the whites of their eyes. I think that's what I want to be doing right here. What else do we have? Got new benefits. What else do we have out here? Okay. AMD. Out here. Okay. Got some big volume on AMD today. NVIDIA also showing some new products. Some kind of big volume out here blowing everybody out. This may be it for AMD today. We talked about this being one of the weaker stocks. Everybody's telling everybody to buy today. Every kind of upgrade in the world certainly makes me think that the easiest way to get out of long positions is to run the shorts and run them quickly and make sure to take the other side of that trade. You got some huge volume out here. I just don't see the long-term advantage of being in AMD. I think there were a lot of people that bought AMD at the lows on the street at $2. They've been able to run it to $14. This may be the best time to sell AMD that you will have in your lifetime. If you want to look at this thing from the last 3 or 4 years when it looked like it was going out of business at $2. Let's take a quick look at NVDA. I'm not a big deal about Epic's launch, so I don't think it's that big a deal. But we shall see. NVIDIA, this is where I said these stocks really are going to give this signal. Again, well, I guess we'll come back to this. Let's clean this up here. If you're looking at these 9 days, this is exactly what we're kind of looking for out here. Any close, not much lower out here, signals some fairly big moves. In this case, we could see NVIDIA back to 108.07.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we had a question via email what this Epix thing is with AMD. This is their effort to get back into the server business. Intel's got 99% of it. And Intel's game has generally been, I didn't want to show this 3x3 before we left here on NVIDIA. It's not that different than what we see in the 9-day. So really, kind of any real dip out here of any meaning in the next few days would break that lower level and give you a sell signal on that, saying that 105 was possible. Let's take a quick look at it. Anyway, Intel's game has always been that when AMD finally looks like it's going to be fairly competitive, to go ahead and start dropping prices. We had kind of a big discussion on this yesterday. I didn't think much about going long Intel until the end of the summer. That's mostly because the new chips that are going to come on, those new chips have new memory. And that memory, why AMD is yelling that their memory is twice as fast today. What we're going to see is Intel saying that their memory is 500 or 1,000 times faster with their new memory coming out this fall. So if you're, if it's anywhere within the reasonable price point, I think that they're back to 99% of server business. So it just, do you buy 2 servers because they're half as cheap as 1 server? Well, the maintenance, the power is certainly one of the biggest expenses in these because these things run 24 hours a day and they do bring a lot of power, burn a lot of power. So you're actually better off having 1 server that does the work of 2 servers. And that is the issue come this fall. So is there a little window for AMD here? Yep. My guess, though, is it is a window to be sold. So we will look at that. Grain alert, that would be sweet. NVIDIA. Okay. What else do we have? Wanted to look at a few other stocks out here. We looked at USO. Someone wants me to comment on Uber. Well, this is going to be interesting because Uber is valued at like $80 billion, hasn't gone public. The CEO was forced out and resigned, but he was forced out over the last few days. They had the Huff and Puffington Post lady who's on the board kind of take flack for him. Wasn't enough. There's only one thing that you have to know about Silicon Valley, and that is it is the land and ground zero for political correctness right now. So they hired the disgraced former attorney general who was impeached, probably because they could get him to do anything they wanted. And it looks like the board wanted him to write a report to get Travis out and put somebody else in. The question is, with all his shares and the ability now to sell those shares, what is that going to look like? If I was him, I think he's got like $10 billion worth at the present valuation. Well, he sells it at half. That makes everybody else's valuations in half too. I don't know if he's the kind of guy that could be vindictive, but I would say it's at least 50-50. Again, you start seeing some of these guys that are highly driven. A lot of discussion today in the technology circles, whether or not you have to be a jerk or not to actually prevail. And they gave big jerks like Apple's former CEO and, of course, Mark Zuckerberg and some of these other guys that literally had to go out and hire adults because they weren't very mature, and gave a lot of examples of it. But it's not uncommon to see these people that are very brilliant be kind of almost Asperger's disease kind of people. So it's not beyond the scope of things. But there's only one thing that's important to people in Silicon Valley now, and that is living to the code that they want to import on everybody else, and they have to do it by leadership. I never really figured out what the big deal was with the Uber, but I have a feeling this may be the beginning of the end of these super high valuations for stocks that have yet to go public. And I never understood the $80 billion valuation on Uber. I thought it was a $5 billion company at tops, mostly because there will be more people that do it like Lyft and others, and eventually the prices will come down. It's always interesting to see a company valued at $80 billion that loses $2 or $3 billion a year. The old idea is that, if we just get a slightly bigger truck, we'll start making money. Well, that truck wasn't big enough. We're going to just get a slightly bigger truck, and we're going to start making money. In fact, it's going to be like a laser printer just shooting money out the front. All we got to do is buy paper, and we'll be printing money. Well, it doesn't always work like that. We've seen that with Snap. We've seen that with others, and I don't know if there's a whole lot there. Yes, I'm far too logical in an illogical world. But I probably not all the people that are suddenly bald from this morning when they saw the EIA report and the market turned south anyway. Very interesting. I heard a lot of discussion today also about what you're looking for. And most of the discussion revolved around what I've said in the energy sector already. I know I'm kind of bouncing around here today, but that's kind of the way my thought process is working today, kind of a stream of consciousness. But I told my newsletter readers, and I think maybe on the show here too, that it was going to be impossible for me to be long crude until I started seeing those Baker Hughes rig counts go down. And why it was only up one, I still think, last Friday, I still think that you're going to have to see kind of probably 20, 25 rigs downside before you're going to find a lot of stabilization in crude. It just doesn't look like it's going to get any better. And my guess is that we're also going to see many in the Mideast start pumping oil because they need more dollars. And maybe the breakup of OPEC that started with the Qatar issue, a week ago. I suggested Andy Heck write a prisoner's dilemma article on it, and I think he did. Yeah, in fact, he did. I know he did. But it's kind of interesting. Anyway, we're flat, almost flat on the S&P cash out here. Like I said, you're going to have to watch the very end of these days out here for what you're doing. We're kind of flat now. Volume's been coming in since 2 o'clock. And that's why this, I kind of said, well, you want to watch 2 o'clock coming in because this is when options rollover is over and when you start seeing exactly what people want to do in the market. Again, I'm looking for some kind of spike out here for me to pull the trigger. I don't see it yet. What else do we have? We have time. We got one more segment. I'll look for a few more things to comment on. Maybe some people want to give me a ring at 877-927-6663 for the last segment. And, of course, still emailing.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And all I can think of is the early days of Atari. And everybody's going bananas for being politically correct in Silicon Valley right now. And look at the very early days of Atari, where the owner of the company was bringing in hookers and hot tubs on Friday night if you would stay late. I'm not making that up at all. He brought in lots of hookers and hot tubs, and they'd have parties if you would stay late on Friday night. So give you kind of an idea just how far Silicon Valley has gone in this time. In and out of the tub, doesn't matter. It was I guess this is a kind of an interesting story, because I did end up working with the guy that was running the company, and he later started a company called Chuck E. Cheese, which couldn't be any farther from Atari than you could think, right? He was coming on and he was going to try to save Commodore in the 90s. And I talked to him a great deal about all those times. And his name is Nolan Bushnell. And he is very interesting. I met him in Chicago. We talked about the capability of maybe doing something for the company. I asked him why he was firing all his software engineers, and didn't that mean that the company was going under? He was getting ready to take it over from a gentleman called Irving Gould, and he didn't know that Irving Gould was firing all the programmers, and I was the guy that actually broke the news to him, and he backed out of the whole damn thing the next day, which was very interesting to me. I went back into the back lot of Commodore one day in the early 90s, and they had almost, I think they had almost 500, what do they call it, semi-trailers. And in the back of all those semi-trailers, every single one of them was Commodore 64s and 128s that had blown up and been returned. And they were all keeping them on the books for all those years, even to the time that they blew up. So interestingly, of course, after he started Chuck E. Cheese, they were going to bring him back in to save Commodore. But at that point, it was unsavable. And I was the guy that broke the news, because he ran out of the meeting room within about 30 seconds after I told him, and he was gone the next day. So he was a very interesting. When I talked to him for the couple hours before, I asked him the tough question that blew his mind, and he found out about it. But they were bankrupt about 6 months later. But I couldn't figure out why they were going to expand at the same time they were firing all their programmers. Anyway, we were talking about some of these other stuff. Yeah, there was a lot of it was a wild, wild west back in the 70s and early 80s for those guys. And of course, most of them couldn't get a date. So it was very attractive that they provided female companionship for those programmers back then. We were looking at the IBB, and I continue to look at this thing. If you get one more day out of this thing wants to probably go to this double gap that goes to about 320, 323. I would love to see that too. We'll see what we have going on at the end of the day. We're kind of flat on the S&P cash. Like I wanted to be up maybe at 24.45 or something. I just don't think we're going to get it. Maybe Friday. I would wait until the whites of their eyes on this. I think we've got one more little pop to set the hook on being short this market. We shall see. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.